What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Verbal Garbage Football Show. Joined again by my wonderful co-host Reef, aka the Posture God. We're gonna try to follow a little format today. We're gonna start off with our players or teams of the week. Reef, take the floor. Who do you got first that stood out to you in week two?
I'm
Team
gonna
or player?
honestly say, not to sound like a homer, it has to be Jalen Hurts.
You called it MVP, right? You said it early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely said that as like a homer. I don't actually think he's gonna win MVP, but
I mean,
they
not a
have an
bad
easy
start for his
schedule.
case.
Got a pretty easy schedule, and if they keep playing this way, anything's possible.
Absolutely. Now, you think we should go back and forth, or you want to do your two?
I think you should go now.
All right. Well, we want to talk Tim Turbo. We want to talk that. How about Tua Tunga Vailoa, Reef? 6 touchdowns, 21-point deficit in the fourth quarter against a pretty good Ravens team on the road. Are you sold? Are you what? Give me your thoughts. I mean, that was I'm a big fan, and I was flummoxed.
I I can't say I'm sold yet, but he definitely beat the Tim Tebow allegations. Um, I'm gonna go out and say he's better than Tim Tebow now.
Already.
I'm
Wow, one
sorry. I'm
game.
sorry for all the bad things I said about him and comparing him to that quarterback.
Yeah, it was a
But
stretch.
yeah, I mean, get the ball to Tyreek Hill and the other fast guys, and you win.
Amazing.
Seems
Yeah,
like it
they're
works.
they're looking dangerous. What about another player or team from week two that stood out to you? Anything that?
Um, I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Oh yeah,
Uh, Specifically, I want to say Amron St. Brown.
dude, he's so good.
It's just amazing. Like last year, he finished really strong, and everyone kind of like wasn't too sure if that was like who he was, but yeah, he's that good. And we see how good the Eagles looked last night. Um, they had a close game with the Eagles. They beat Washington. Might be a good team.
Yeah, I think they are for
And
sure.
I don't even watch Hard Knocks,
And
so
they're
I'm not
young,
even
dude.
I'm
They
not
got
even in
a
that hype. I
they
just
got
think
a
they
lot
look
of good
good.
young guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if football math really translates over, but the Lions beat the Commies, the Eagles beat the Lions. Should be an easy game in week three for the Eagles. My stock up or team up, whatever you want to call it. I hate to say it, but let's go Jimmy G slash the 49ers. Their front office is looking super smart for re-signing him amidst all the trade talk. Trey Lance, unfortunately, season ending ankle injury. He's out. I drafted Trey Lance in a fantasy league. I thought there was going to be noticeable improvement. Very early to say, he didn't play much of week two, but Jimmy G came in, the troops responded, and I think the 49ers are going to be a force to reckon with, especially with the Rams not looking so good yet. So
Yeah, I have to agree
uh,
with that.
let's go. Let's do stock down. Teams or players that you think are kind of trending downwards, and we can do one or two each again with this, and then we'll move on to week three preview.
I think the obvious answer is Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Wow, wow, wow,
Um,
wow. Ewing
yeah,
theory, you called it right.
I mean, like I say, I didn't truly believe what I was saying at that time, but I had feelings, and it's surprising. Like he just looks hard. Like I understand, like their offensive line hasn't been great, but like
I
he
mean,
he just looks bad in general. It's not like he can blame everybody else.
yeah, and they,
And
they continue to neglect the offensive line. They made a signing in the offseason. They got who? Lyle Collins. They told
I think
Burrow,
so.
I'm gonna be your bodyguard now. Well, not quite Lyle.
hmm
Um, yeah, they got skill players. I mean, you could argue there are three receivers and they're running back. They have the best crop, of talent around him,
hmm
but it's not coming to fruition. The defense looks bad. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. You want to do two, or you want to just do one for there? You want to bounce it to me because I'm trying to think of who I could really
I have another one in mind.
talk to me.
I'm gonna go with the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, yeah, dude. I hate to say it, but you're looking a little bit like the Prophet Reed.
Sorry, coach. Sorry, quarterback.
Sorry,
Same team every year. One year they get you hype going into the next year, then they let you down.
this is
Next year
true.
they'll be good again. Next year you'll be hype, let them down again. It's just sad.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's
much
funny.
talent. The GM always goes all out to get them talent.
Bring
Um,
back John Gruden and Mike Mayock.
yeah, might as well, right? At this point.
Seriously. It's funny. I had a couple candidates for that, but let's just stock down. Let's go AFC West. I mean, all the hype going into the season this year, and I know it's early. It's only been 2 weeks, but the Chiefs look amazing. We all kind of thought they were going to look great, but I've been very unimpressed with the Chargers, the Raiders, and I mean the Broncos. So what like
Ugh.
Nate Hackett was going to be my stock down loser of the week, but then once you started saying the Raiders, I was like, you know what? The AFC West as a whole has kind of been suffering.
Yeah,
We
that's
thought that was going to be
mhm.
everything.
Yeah, that was the big division. They were saying they could all make the playoffs, and it's like I think they got one right now.
So, yeah, and that might be it. You know, the AFC, Buffalo and Miami. We'll get to that in a minute, but that's the AFC East is looking pretty formidable. They're playing each other this weekend, so
hmm
yeah, I was gonna say Nate Hackett slash AFC West as a whole, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. I'm gonna pull up the screen sharing device, and we're gonna go up to the schedule for the week 3. And do you want to cover the Thursday night game, or you want to just go right to the Sunday games?
Yeah, we could talk about the Thursday game for a sec. It's a pretty bad
AFC
game, I
North,
see.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Walk us through it.
This reminds me of last week's Bears and Packers game.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
Yeah, sadly. Um, can't say I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy it's on Thursday, kind of, so I
Hell
don't really
yeah.
have to watch it.
And that the new Amazon Prime. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not digging it. I'm the notorious DJ, you know. When it goes to
yeah,
commercial, I flip to some Dog the Bounty Hunter or some Bar Rescue, and having it on Prime, you just gotta sit there and watch the same commercials the whole
yeah.
goddamn night,
It's
you
pretty
know,
smart by them. I have to give them credit for that.
for
Never thought
sure.
about that.
And yeah, I mean they're advertising, they're showing their deals. I'm probably going on Amazon between commercials, you know, it's a brilliant move. Who do you got in the game?
Uh, I think I'll take the Browns. I just
Yeah.
think running
They just
backs
blew
run the
that game,
ball.
huh? They were
Yeah,
just
they
up
did.
13 points in the fourth quarter against
I
the Jets and blew
yeah,
that. So
that's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how teams constantly do that, and like you're gonna blame a guy for scoring a touchdown when you have a minute and 13 seconds to make two stops and you can't.
yeah, this was
Like
crazy.
it's just like football is so dumb sometimes.
Insane. That's why I love going on here and predicting the week's games because you just have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, no idea.
I think I'm going to echo you. Go Cleveland. I just don't think I've seen enough from Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland's defense and the running game. Brissett, he's terrible, but he has a couple moments. He's a professional
hmm
quarterback, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we'll agree. Cleveland with the clean sweep. All right, we got Houston going to Chicago to take on the Bears with Justin Fields and that dynamic offense. Wait, are they dynamic? What do you think?
I mean, this looks like a pretty even matchup on paper, huh? Um,
Definitely bottom dwellers. The catfish game.
I mean, if there's any game for Justin Fields to like announce himself to the league, like, hey, I'm not going to be that bad. Like, this is the matchup. You're at home versus Houston. You got to have a
Lovey
good
Smith
game.
coming back though. Are we
Yeah,
worried about that?
but I mean, that was a while ago, you know.
True, but
But you got to have a good game in this one. I think this is his best chance for Bears
the
fans to see if
athleticism's
he's the
there,
answer
right?
or not.
I mean, the
Yeah, just
athleticism's there.
you
We
know,
just gotta. It's kind of like a Jalen Hurts last year, where we're not sure, but at least he was having good wins and good moments. I'm rooting for Fields. I want to see him do well. I'm gonna pick Houston on the road.
I'm gonna go with Chicago here.
All righty, all right. Our first little disagreement. Now tell me what. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, Raiders, your team. Vegas is traveling, going across the country somewhat. Tennessee, who just looked terrible in my opinion on Monday. Granted, they're going against one of the best teams, but how do you see that one unfolding?
Another game that looks pretty even on paper.
Nah, come
Um,
on. Vegas is definitely the better team. They're just not falling through yet, in my opinion.
yeah, but I just feel like this is gonna be one of those games where the pressure might be on Ryan Tannehill a little bit to perform better. Derrick Henry needs to get his you know,
We all knew this was coming, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
he's
but
been
I
too
don't I
good for
don't
too
think it's
long.
all his fault. I
No,
think they've
no.
just been poor, but they're playing the Raiders who just can't stop the run at all. So I'm thinking the Titans are going to win this game at home.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair bet. Uh, I got to ride with the Raiders. I've been honking their horn all off season. They got to get off the schneid eventually, and I think this is their time.
Yeah.
Pretty weak team in Tennessee. Not much of a home field to speak of.
hmm
Next game we can pretty much gloss over. Indy, I think, is made their case for top or bottom three worst teams in the league. They got Patrick Mahomes coming to town, bring out the pigs and let them get slaughtered. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I just
Any
think
chance for Indy?
no, I don't think they're going to win per se, but I like Kansas City is pretty good versus the pass, but with the run, if they can just score early, trying to kind of control the game on the ground, maybe run some clock, it can be a close game, but I don't think they're actually going to win.
Yeah. See, that's kind of I was gonna kind of parallel the Chiefs to the Rams. I think the Chiefs are much better, but both of those teams have explosive offenses, and once they get up the big leads, I don't
Hmm.
think they're good enough on the ground to really chew the clock and run the game. You saw last week,
Yeah.
Tennessee or Atlanta almost came
Hmm.
back and got picked
Yeah.
off in the end zone, but they almost came back and beat the Rams. So the running game is huge, and I still think it's going to be a blowout. But I could see your case,
Hmm.
for Kansas City not being able to hold on and wrap that up.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, my opinion, this is the game of the week. I'm a little bummed out that the Eagles are at the same time as this game. I'll still have my two TVs going, but divisional matchup, AFC East, battle of the undefeated, 2-0s. Buffalo going on the road to Miami. It's still hot down here in Florida. I think that plays a factor that a lot of people don't realize. How do you see this game going?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me.
Tunga.
The game being in Miami is a big advantage for Miami, I
Huge
think.
advantage. Yep.
Um, but I think they have the defense capable, the best defense possible, maybe, besides maybe the Eagles, their corners to stop these guys. Um, they they rush the passer a lot better than the two teams Miami's played, and I think that's going to give Tua trouble
Yeah.
eventually. So I think Buffalo's going to go out there and handle business. I really believe in Josh Allen,
Yeah.
so I
Oh,
think
dude. I think
you know
I mean,
whatever Miami does on offense, I think Josh Allen's ready to respond.
all right, I like it. I read something a while ago about people making the case for having this speedy offense in Miami about how the weather's always warm there, so it's going to keep the joints and the tendons loose. I don't know if that's any truth to that, but I think Miami's speed is a major problem. As long as Mostert's staying healthy right now, they're starting to transition a little more to him until he gets hurt. But those two outside receiving threats are, I mean, my God, you just throw them a screen pass, do a reverse, jet sweeps, anything to get them the ball, and they're going to produce. I think Miami's going to win this one. Honestly, I think it's going to be a great game. But if Gabe Davis still wasn't playing for Buffalo, I think that's a pretty big loss, and that could be a factor. And I don't know. I just like Miami here. Ooh, another juicy divisional game. Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota looked good week one, beating the shit out of Green Bay, destroying Rodgers. Week two, they go to a little place called Lincoln Financial Field, meet up with Darius Slay and the boys, and not looking so good. So what do you think of this one? Detroit going to Minnesota.
Another game I think that looks pretty close on paper.
Yep.
Got a lot of good matchups this week compared
Oh,
to
it's
last
great.
week.
No, it's
Even though the
great.
games were insane last week, but
Comeback
on
City
paper
last week
it didn't look great.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah,
feel
we were
like this
talking
is
all
a
the
game
blowouts last
where
week.
we might be a little too high on the Lions, and they're going on the road to Minnesota, who have Jefferson, who struggled versus the Eagles, but that's for
Crazy,
reasons.
insane.
Um, I think the Vikings are going to win this game at home, just because they're at home. I think it's just one of those things where they'll split their division games.
Yeah, hard to go against that, but I like Detroit. I like their vibe. I like their coaching staff. I like the youth. Um, I think they're very tough mentally and physically, and I think they're just going to go in and beat up little Kirk. Kirk's not playing at nighttime, which is going to help him. But
Mhm.
yeah, I like Detroit here. And man, you're right. This slate this week is amazing. Like honestly, Baltimore, New England. 5 years ago, this is 6, 7 years ago. This is the matchup we're all living for. Nowadays, New England's kind of on a downwards trajectory. Reef's getting molested by his dog. Um, Baltimore, the tough collapse last week. I think they're going to have all the juice to come back. Lamar's got to be playing for that contract every week. I like Baltimore here.
Yeah, I think I like Baltimore here too, especially after the bad loss they just had, where they had the game they were blowing out Miami.
Tunga.
I think they bounce back. Harbaugh's a great coach. Belichick is obviously, but Mac Jones,
No.
yeah, not going
Yeah,
to do it.
I agree. Another great game here. They're not the best teams, but the Jets are feisty as fuck. Joey Flax from Jersey is just going dookie. Gabe Wilson, they got some good receivers, some young talent. The Bengals, who are struggling, are they 0-2?
Yes, they are.
Wow. I'll be honest here. I think this is a tough game for them. They're going to New York. Fireman Ed's going to be getting the Jets fans hyped up.
Yeah.
You know him, right? You've seen him on the sidelines.
Yeah, I've seen him.
He's the best. Jets, Jets. Give me some Jets love here. Do you know the spread for that game, by the way?
No, I don't. I could
I'm curious about that, just because
take a look.
it is illegal for me to like do parlays in Florida as of right now, right?
I don't know. I don't really know.
I gotta I don't know like how I go on about doing that because I want to try to start doing them so bad.
You can just download like a sports betting app.
Like my bookie.
No, more like FanDuel.
Well, I have DraftKings.
You have to download the DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a different app. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. I want to start doing parlays.
The Bengals are favored by 5 in this game, and that's insane to me.
So they're getting like the Jets get +5 because I'm still learning it. So that means whatever the final score. Okay. Jets, Jets. I like that.
I think the
Bengals could win, but it's going to be close, man. The Jets are their defense is very good.
I wasn't very high on the Bengals coming into the season, but I just can't see them going 0-3.
It's crazy, but
I think they'll win by like a field goal.
God, why am I so high on the Jets?
I mean, they have a win this year. The Bengals don't.
Yeah.
The Bengals played 2 bad teams, and they have no wins.
I'm still perplexed. I mean, they lost to Mitch Trubisky and Cooper Rush.
Yes.
And they were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
7
my
months
point.
ago. All right, let's just cover it. Eagles going to the commie world. Come on, man. Carson Wentz, he's looked decent so far. Carson Wentz revenge tour, I've heard about it. I've seen a little bit. Eagles, man, let's go. Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to look like they did versus Minnesota this week. Just handle business. Washington's not a very good team. There's going to be some
Ron Rivera firing soon, possibly.
I don't think he'll get to that point. I just think like Carson Wentz is going to be so hyped going into this game. So are the Eagles, but Eagles are just way better.
Yeah, that's like me. I don't really have much of a thought on this.
I don't have much thoughts in this game. It's like if the Eagles lose, I'm going to be pretty pissed off because I think they're so much better than Washington.
But when you, Jay, and I discussed this before the season, in the first 4 weeks, it looked so easy, but we all agreed there was going to be one of those 4 games. I thought it was going to be the Commies losing. I mean, I thought the Commies were going to beat us. You guys both thought Jacksonville might be able to beat us, so we'll see. I think one of these next 2 games, it could be a loss, but if not, I'm going to be so damn high on this team.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Divisional game going on the road early on with
you got to win those.
Revenge. I mean, this is a tough game.
Yeah, it's not an easy game, but I think I believe in the Eagles so much that they're just going to handle business.
Yeah, same here. I'm kind of looking back. I'm like, I thought they were going to lose this game early in the season. Now they just seeing how they look. I'm pretty high on it. We got the Saints going to Carolina. 2 unimpressive teams so far. NFC South divisional battle. I don't know if Kamara is going to be playing for the Saints. That's a huge loss. He didn't play last week. What do you think of this game?
This is a toss-up because Andy Dalton might be starting. Is that what I've heard?
What?
Because I know Winston's hurt. Like he had all those fractures in his back.
What about Taysom Hill?
Going into the game, and he didn't look good during the game at all. So I've heard some things that he might play.
Yikes! Maybe he'll be fired up.
Yeah. With that being said, I think New Orleans is still going to win this game regardless of who's at quarterback. I don't believe in Matt Rule at all.
Yeah, I was trying to buy the hype, and
I bought into Baker redemption, and he failed me already. Yep. And he's just the same quarterback. I don't want to hear about any injury excuses or whatever. It's not very good.
And what about McCaffrey?
And that's the thing with Baker. It just feels like Baker is so like about himself on the field sometimes. Sweet. I just don't think like he's just making the right plays. Like he's just going for big plays over just like.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to watch enough of them yet, so I can't speak.
I've watched a little in Red Zone, but that's what it seems like to me.
Good point. I like Carolina in this game. I think they're 0-2. They're at home. Something's got to go their way, right? I mean, I don't think they're as bad as their record indicates. The next game, we got Jacksonville, an early season darling, going to the Chargers. Chargers again, battling terrible coaching, questionable special teams. Now they got their star quarterback battling a little bit of an injury. So when you combine those three, they are at home, but LA, as we all know, doesn't have much of a home field advantage. This might be my shocking pick of the week, but I think Jacksonville's going to be able to go on the road and beat the Chargers between Herbert's ribs, Eckler's lack of production, Keenan Allen's lingering injury. I don't know, man. I don't feel great about the Chargers and their coaching. I'm Staley is. I don't really have words. What do you think? Jacksonville at the Chargers, 4 o'clock game.
When I first looked at this game, I thought the Chargers would win easily, but you make some good points. We don't know what's going on with Herbert.
I think he's got a couple
And,
fractures, right? I think I read.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I feel like if Herbert's hurt and banged up, that really doesn't make Eckler as effective as he usually is because
yeah. Maybe he'll get more checkdowns, and get a lot of catches this game because
yeah,
of the
but
injury. But what's that
but
going to amount to?
that's not going to help, and we don't know what's going on with Keenan Allen.
Yep.
Um,
Mike Williams, one bad game, one good game. He's had that trend for 2 full years now, and he had a bad game week one, a great game last week. I think he's going to come back down, and I don't know. I'm really leaning Jacksonville here.
yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think if Herbert is healthy enough to play, they will win.
Yep. All right, so you're going Herbert. I'm going Jacksonville and Lawrence. Fun
Yes.
quarterback matchup. It's a shame Herbert doesn't have his hair, so that would have been a great hair battle. Los Angeles at Arizona. I don't know how to feel about this matchup. I'm not like I can see this Arizona winning this game honestly, and I think I'm going to pick them coming off a good win last week. Rondale Moore might be coming back. I'm trying to make the case. I don't know. The Rams, they still have some playmakers, but Stafford is kind of reverting back to his old turnover-prone self, and the lack of running game I think is going to really be a hindrance on them all year. So I'm going Arizona
Yeah, I definitely going to lean Los Angeles here
for sure.
because you know Arizona had to have a dramatic comeback versus a team that I think is very bad in the Raiders, and I think the Rams kind of just let their foot off the pedal last week.
Because they can't
Uh,
run.
yeah,
If they could run, they would have blown them out, but they can't.
yeah, but I just think they're just gonna, they're not gonna be able to stop their offense.
I'm probably undervaluing the Rams here, but I kind of like picking sometimes against the grain, and I
Oh
think
yeah, of
Arizona's a
course.
little frisky, and I don't know, they can put up a fight. So you're going LA, I'm going Arizona. All
Yeah,
right,
I'm gonna go LA.
next game. I think it sticks out right away. Every other matchup's been pretty juicy and appetizing. This Atlanta Seattle game makes me want to barf. Um, what do you think about it? The 12th man going to be a role within Seattle? Ugh.
No, I actually think Atlanta's gonna go to Seattle and win this one.
What is going on with Kyle Pitts? Talk to me.
I
Drake
mean,
London, the outside receiver, is he causing that much of a butt? Like, I don't understand it, dude.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, he didn't produce very much last year either. So
He didn't
it's
get
like,
touchdowns, but he was getting catches and yards.
yeah,
But
but like
this
he
year he's
wasn't
getting
like
two
there was a lot of
catches.
hype about this guy. He was considered the best receiver overall in the draft, I believe, even over like the actual receivers.
Dude, he's fucking nice. I'm a
I mean,
huge Kyle Pitts
he's
fan.
good, but like
Yeah.
at a certain point, it's not like
He does have Marcus Mariota throwing to him.
I understand that, but it's not like a guy is like not going to throw to you. Like if
Well,
you're that good, like you're going to get the ball.
touche.
You got to get the ball. You got to go get the ball sometimes. Like you know,
No, you're not
make your
wrong.
impact felt.
You're not wrong. I'm gonna go Atlanta here too. I don't think
Right?
they've looked terrible. I just don't think they're very fun to watch. And
Yeah.
Seattle, I think, is a hot mess.
Hmm.
Okay, nationally, this is probably considered the game of the week due to the time slot, and everything like that. And no more Aiken Buckman. They're doing Monday Night Football now, so we got the Fox 425 game. Green Bay coming to everybody's Florida Fox News dad's favorite quarterback, Tom Brady. What do you think about this one? Great game,
um,
great battle of quarterbacks.
I don't think this is going to be a great game at all. I think the Bucks are going to stomp them.
All right, well, what if I told you that the Bucks weren't going to have their top two receivers? You don't think that's a big deal at all?
I think the Bucks' third
The
best
receivers are still
receivers
better than the
is still
Packers.
better than the Packers receivers. The Bucks defense is better than the Packers. The Bucks can stop the run. The Packers cannot stop the run, as we saw with Chicago last week.
Yeah, Herbert
Uh,
was.
so I think the Bucks are just going to control this game. Tom Brady's too smart. He'll just throw 5-yard passes to Fournette, run the ball with Fournette, get their other running back involved.
Yeah, I think against you, I think it's going to be a great game. I think Rodgers is just too damn good. He's just going to start getting better and better each week and flowing with these guys. And I think week 10, 11, I think Green Bay is going to start being talked about as the best team in the NFC because I think their defense is very good. I know their run defense hasn't looked good so far, but I think that's going to just start gelling over time. And you know the Packers, they usually start clicking as the season goes along. And I think Rodgers is too damn good to not get on the same level with the receivers. And the running game, I'm a huge fan of their 1-2 punch with Dillon and Jones. I think that's going to continue to get better. Their blending of running and receiving, they're both good at each. Go Pack, go! Jumping back on the bandwagon here.
All right.
We got the Sunday night game. Jimmy G's first start of the year, going to the aforementioned Denver Broncos with you heard Bill Simmons calling him Nat Hackett. I was so maybe the worst coach in the league, Nathaniel Hackett. Denver home game. Russell Wilson has looked god awful. Everyone thought he was going to come back to life with two good receivers. He had two good receivers last year. What do you think of this one?
I think San Francisco wins this one easily.
Definitely.
Just a matchup thing. They're used to playing Russell Wilson.
And they got their guy back, man. Jimmy G. Like he's the guy.
I just think their defense is going to be so much better than the defenses Denver's played this year, where they've looked horrible already. And I just think this is going to be a blowout, kind of low scoring, but a blowout.
Yeah, and I don't think, like I said, it's so hard not to copy Nat Hackett PI, but I was laughing so hard at that. I think he's just him and the Wilson combination. Like it's weird because that was Aaron Rodgers' guy in Green Bay, Hackett, and I thought that was going to be such a good marriage of him and Wilson coming together. And
maybe Wilson's just not very good.
No, it has been arguably maybe the worst pairing so far. So
yeah,
I like San Francisco. I think Jimmy G is just that kind of player. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, to be honest, but I think the guys really rally around him. And I'm not trying to sound like that cliche ESPN guy, but I mean, it's true. Like you can just tell they elevate their game when he comes in. And I'm a big proponent of that. And football is a big mental game as well as physical. And I think Jimmy's he's taken them there already. You know what I mean? He knows what it takes to get there. And I like San Francisco. All right, we got about 9 minutes left, and I think we can spend 9 minutes on this game because there's storylines aplenty. We got Dallas coming off a game without Prescott, looking their best of the year so far. They're going to New York to play the football Giants, who are 2-0. Reef, can you believe this?
Yeah, it's
Ryan Dable, probably
surprising.
the best hire of the offseason, if you'd agree so far. I mean, I think he looks just the way the Giants are clicking. I'm not impressed with their passing game or their quarterback. I don't really know what I'm impressed with. I know they're 2-0. I haven't really watched much of them yet, so I'm excited to watch this game. Break it down a little bit for me.
Yeah, so the Giants are 2-0. They've looked pretty good. I'm not going to get too hype about
Who
their
were their
two
wins against? You remember?
It was Tennessee in week 1 and Carolina week 2, which aren't bad wins per se. They're like middle of the road teams, it seems like, this year. So, that's good to beat those teams.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Tennessee
was the 1 seed last year, weren't they? It's fucking great.
It is surprising. It still surprises me, yeah.
It's insane.
But Dallas, they looked horrible week 1. We were thinking maybe they're the worst team in the league after that. Dak is out. They come back.
They fire by week 5.
Come back. They have another good performance with their defense. So we're going to see that their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games this year.
Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a candidate. He looks awesome.
He is insane. I mean, they're lining him up over center. They're lining him up on end. They're putting him in. He's incredible.
Yeah. And Dallas, they're not really like bad. Like their roster is still pretty good besides losing their quarterback who wasn't playing very good in the first place.
I think they might have Michael Gallup coming back this week too, which I think is an underrated addition. He's good.
Yeah, and I think this is just one of those games where everyone's going to be a little too high on the Giants, and I think Dallas is just going to go in there and they're going to beat them just because they have better players on their roster than the Giants do.
I was kind of leaning towards the Giants in the beginning, but then when you started bringing that up, I'm like, you know what? Like, can we really see a world where the Giants are 3-0 with Daniel Jones as their quarterback?
Exactly. Is Cooper Rush that much worse than Daniel Jones? I don't think so.
No, and supporting cast around him.
Yeah, like you got to lean Dallas.
Didn't Schultz get hurt last week? Dallas' tight end.
I have no idea, but that would be pretty big.
I think he got hurt, and I think Gallup might be coming back, but they're two running backs alone, and I mean Parsons is really that good. that I think
Hmm.
he can really influence games, and I think he's going to play a major factor in this game. And Daniel Jones, he's a little bit mobile, he can move around a little bit, but you hit him once or twice, and I think he's really going to just start being super hesitant and gun shy. I don't know who they're throwing to. Is it Tony? Is it fucking
It's
Kenny
always
Galladay? Like
it's gonna be Sterling Shepard for the next 10 years.
he's
Every
still there. Like
it's just always Sterling Shepard.
it's him, Kenny Galladay, and that Kadarius Tony guy.
Darius Slayton too. He'll always be
Okay,
there.
yep. They
It's
got
just
rid of Evan Engram. I'm just trying to think out loud. Like I haven't. I'm excited to watch this game because NFC East games are always great. Divisional games in general, but like I haven't got. I've gotten to watch Dallas a good amount. I watched that whole Cincy game last week, but the Giants I
Mhm.
haven't peeked much on, so I'm pretty excited for that. What are your thoughts on the Dak Prescott? Like, if Cooper Rush wins the next 4 or 5 games, is there a world when they don't go back? No, it's impossible, right?
Nah, Jerry Jones is like he would never do that. He's so like loyal to his guys that he trusts. So I don't think he'll do that.
What are your thoughts on Dak overall? I mean, do you think he's properly rated, overrated, underrated? Because I'm
I
starting to
think
feel,
he's I think he's like he's getting trashed a little too much,
yeah,
but he's not very good.
yeah. I
He's
mean,
he's not.
I'm trying to think. Like,
They've given
would
him
you
so
take Jimmy
much.
G over Dak?
I think Jimmy G with this Dallas team would do special things.
Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah, of course. I think the potential is so high there.
Derek Carr? I'm just no. I'm,
Pass.
I'm really trying to like think of like a good like where's the line?
I think Carr is better quarterback than him, but I would not want that problem either.
Yeah, I think like how you're saying Dak's getting a little bit unfairly ripped right now. I think Carr is definitely going through the same stuff. I think he's going to really hit a stride eventually, and he's going to put up awesome numbers. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe last year was a little bit of a flash
I
in the
mean, his
pan.
numbers are awesome already. Probably he.
No, they're not. They're not great. And I
Really?
thought with adding Devonte Adams and having Renfro and who else do they have? They have another good receiver, don't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
Waller.
Waller. Um, and McDaniels is known to be an offensive guru. I thought this was really going to be something special, but they've really underwhelmed me so far. And I don't know, man. I'm just a little worried about the Raiders. I thought they were really going to be special, but that division was just going to be so good each week. I don't know. We got about 4 minutes left. You want to do? I can pull up the divisions and we can kind of predict who we think is going to win the division, or we can do a little early MVP slash Defensive Player of the Year talk.
We could talk about some awards, I guess.
Coach of the Year. I know it's only 2 games, but just if the trajectory were to stay the same right now, who are you going with?
Huh? That's a tough one.
I mean,
I
off the
guess
top of my head, we can go like Mike McDaniel from Miami. We can go Brian Dable from the Giants. Those are the 2 guys that stuck out right away to me. Dan Campbell, if Detroit makes a frisky little run, you know.
yeah,
Um, Andy Reid. No, I don't know.
yeah.
Like
I'm thinking
Robert
McDaniel,
Salah.
or is McDermott Buffalo?
Yeah,
I think that if they have the best record, I think there's a chance he could win it.
yeah.
Like if they have like a 14, I guess 15-2 would it be now or something like that? Type of 14-15 win type year. I think he could win it. Miami looks good.
Yeah, I like McDaniel, honestly. First year
The
coach, young guy.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, but the Eagles coach, I don't even know his name, Sirani.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
I
point.
think, I mean, if they win a lot of games,
Yeah, and I think their schedule and the way they've looked so far is lining up like that.
and if you look at their improvement of wins, like they were barely made the playoffs last year. If this year they're number one seed, like that's another candidate for sure.
Or a wild card pick, just because I think both of the teams have great coaches and one of them's going to win the division. Baltimore or Pittsburgh, either
Hmm.
one of them, if they win the division, I could see one of those coaches winning because they're phenomenal. And
Yeah.
Tomlin's got way less talent, especially without TJ Watt. So
Hmm.
let's talk MVP, I guess. Just this is so early. We're just kind of trying to build up each week and just kind of glance in who we think. And I'll start during the week. I'll start making notes of who we think are like the top 5. We'll just kind of place them
Sure.
like that. But right now, can you think of 1 or 2 guys? I mean, I know you called Hurts in the preseason.
Yeah, I think right now, runaway favorite is Josh Allen.
Yeah,
After the first 2 games, he just
for sure.
dominated the two technically the 2-1 seeds in the AFC and NFC last year in back-to-back games.
Good point.
Blew them both out, no problem. He dominated. I think he's far and away right now the number one pick for MVP. Then I guess for another MVP pick, It's boring, but I
Come
have to
on,
go.
man. Jalen, it really has to hurt.
Yeah,
Come
it
on,
does
man.
hurt. But I have to go
Jalen, it's
Patrick.
stinging.
I have to go Patrick Mahomes. So
Great pick.
boring,
Great
but
pick. Now, I was
the
going to
two.
ask you if you feel similar about how in NBA there's definitely an MVP fatigue. Do you
Yeah,
think that's similar in football?
I think it is similar in football, but I feel like they get it right more than often not.
Yeah.
I think Brady's had like 5 or 6, so it feels like right.
Yeah. I think Rodgers has been 4. And
Yeah.
I, I hate to say it, but I think Green Bay is really going to catch a stride. And I think Rodgers is going to win MVP again.
All right. That sounds like some good luck. I just don't think they have the weapons this year.
I don't either, but that kind of makes my case. If he can drag that miserable supporting cast to about 12 wins and put up some good numbers, which he's not off to a good start,
Yeah, they
I
didn't start
think,
good last year either, though.
yeah, relax. Right, a couple years ago. So I
Yeah, I know.
don't know.
He
I feel
loves the
pretty good
media.
about that. His ayahuasca, it's just a plant, guys. Everybody relax.
Yeah, just a plant. So is
So
heroin.
Aaron Rodgers,
Keep
first
going.
year smoking weed and doing plant medicine. I'm really feeling it. I think he's going to win MVP. That pretty much wraps up another episode of the Verbal Garbage Football Show. Shout out to my co-host Reef. Thanks again for coming on, and we'll have another episode next week.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too, bro. Thank you, boy.
I'll see ya.